Hello and welcome to Misaal. My name is Zahid and I'm your host. On this podcast, I talk candidly with the most innovative minds working towards building a better startup economy in Pakistan. In this episode of the Misaal podcast, I talk to Asaad Sohail. He's the co-founder and CEO of Stakehold Pakistan, a skills-based EdTech platform offering on-demand courses with certificates. We discuss the origin story of Stakehold Pakistan, how he found product market fit, challenges in scaling the platform and providing more value than the free information available on YouTube. Let's listen in. Welcome to the Misaal podcast. Asaad, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? It's a pleasure to be here.
So basically, I was looking for guests for this podcast, and your name came up and on a Facebook group. So I was like, okay, I'll reach out to you. I heard that you are working on quite a few things. So yeah, why don't we get started? And can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what are you working on these days?
So I completed my A levels last year in 2021 August, and then I started off with chartered accountancy. I'm currently pursuing that, and currently I was working on a startup since 2020. I was working on Stakehold Pakistan. We launched in August 2020. It's close to 2 years now. And firstly, we were working on Zoom. We were having live courses. It's an EdTech platform, and we were working on skills module based courses. We had few courses at that time, that were being taught by students to students, particularly. We started off with, if I give you a bit of background why we started, it was, I was in Nixon College in Karachi. It's a very well known college over here. And we did a stock market course over there because I was really interested in stock markets, and I personally led that course. So it was a wonderful experience over there. In COVID 2020, we had a live lecture on Zoom, and the response was really, really great. I think over 150 students joined, and they had a really good experience. So my friend, who was also the co-founder previously, Mr. Hashim, he was like, if you can do this over here, let's start off and let's just spread all of Karachi and then all of Pakistan. So that's how we started off with Stakehold, and we started off with financial literacy. But financial literacy was something that's in our domain, why we started. But with time we shifted towards all of literacy and all of skills that are required in the modern day. We did over 4 batches live on Zoom. We had a really good response. But last year, August 2021 was the last batch we did, because in 2021, after everything started to open, it wasn't very feasible for us to have live lectures on Zoom, because every day we used to get a call कि यार हम नहीं आ सकते आज क्लास में, आप मुझे recording provide कर दें. And then we had to call the instructor and say, यार instructor तो बोल रहे हैं, I don't want to provide my recordings, because then what's the point? So these are issues there. Then we switched off completely, because in 2021, when we graduated in August, we were also starting for our universities, everyone. And so we said, we were looking towards the 5th batch, but it was obviously very hectic. Everyone was going to different parts of the world. There were 4 co-founders at that time, but we are now with 2. So what happened was then we decided कि हमने जो है इस पे काम करना है, but we'll go towards a pre-recorded lectures. We'll have an LMS built in on our website, and then we'll do that. So it's obviously easily accessible. So अगर हमारा एक course, it was going around for 2 months, a batch was going around for 2 months. So we were stuck in those 2 months. अब एक course है जो 10 घंटे का है, दूसरा 20 hours का है, तो the other instructor also had to wait for the next batch to launch. So obviously it wasn't that scalable. So we wanted, we took a shift. Obviously we cut down our team. Both co-founders चले गए. Then we had to switch all of it. And for the past 6 months, we were developing our platform. So we have an LMS now, and we have built it. We relaunched on Monday, you would say, with the new platform. And we have around 8 courses currently live. One is on NFTs, one is 2 are on Python. They're free. One is free, one is paid. So the beginners level is bilkul free, and then the paid level, if you enjoy, you can pay up and start working on that as well. Then we have graphic designing and all that stuff.
When you say courses, are you talking about like a subscription service where people get access to all the courses, or is it like per course you pay a fee and that's when you get access to it?
Yeah, it's a per course thing. right now. We don't have a subscription model as of yet. We're working on that as well because we just pre-launched on Monday. We're thinking of different strategies how we can cater more students in a lower cost, obviously, because that's one of the main reasons we started off with. I remember, when I in 2020, when I was really interested in the stock market, we were really free in March 2020. So it was like I wanted to learn about the stock markets, and at that time I didn't know how to Google. So I just went on and said, "क्या मैं किसी से course ले लेता हूँ," because that was also obviously in trend at that time as well. So I had 20,000 in my hand to invest, and when I started researching, people were asking for 15,000. So I was like, "अगर मैं 15,000 दे के सीख भी लूँ, what's the point of investing with 5,000?" I was like, this is there's something wrong with this, right? Obviously, if you talk about the PSX, there is something wrong with that as well. So that's why we started off and we started having obviously not that great trainings. कि हम 15 हफ्ते 20 हफ्ते की ट्रेनिंग करा रहे हैं, 50 hours 60 hours, but minimalistic trainings with minimalistic costs, and you just set the base, and then you ask the kid to explore on himself, because then he starts to be on his own, be independent, and learn a lot more things.
When you say the course, is it like a cohort based course where it's like, you start a cohort and then it ends and that's about it? Or is it like a pre recorded session that anyone, once they make a payment, can access online and follow on their own schedule?
It's completely pre-recorded. There's nothing live. So if you pay, you can access the course anytime. You can watch it anytime you like, at any pace you want. And when you are towards completing it, there are certain quizzes, certain MCQs that you have to pass for the certificate. And if you have any questions, there's a chat box within the LMS. So if you purchase a course, you can easily type any message you want for the instructor, and the instructor will get back to you whenever he's free.
You just said like NFT courses and like, Python courses. So was this something that was requested? Like, did people or students come to you and say, we want something along the lines of like NFT and Python, or this is something that you felt that the market needs it or people would enjoy it?
Back then in 2020, we did a full survey. Obviously, it wasn't a very large sample; it was a very small sample of around 1,000 or 2,000 students that were currently in A levels. So we didn't even touch the inter-metric market or even the university market, because we just surveyed around our colleagues and friends. And the most in-demand thing was not that NFTs at that time, NFTs right now, but crypto, PSX, stock market. Obviously, coding was one of the main things, because it was a startup boom and stuff. People were like, anything with tech, we want to do that. So that these were the most in-demand skills. Then when we start to progress with our lives, when I came into chartered accountancy, I found a need that students want to learn Excel. So we are going for that as well. We need because audit वगैरह करना होता है, and you need to know how to use Excel. So we are going for that. So with time, whatever we saw there is a need for, whatever queries we had on our website, कि भाई हमें ये चीज चाहिए, we went all in for that.
Basically, you already have customers per se before you even launch a course, because you already know this is what people will pay for. That's excellent. So one thing that, I mean, of course, comes to my mind is, there are so many other platforms that do the same exact thing that you are doing. So I'm pretty sure there's something different about you, that you have people reaching out to you and saying they want to do these kind of courses. So what is it that exactly that is different about what you're doing?
I think there are 2 or 3 things that I would like to add over here. When I started off with chartered accountancy, I was exposed to a whole world of metric and inter students. So it was like they didn't have those opportunities that we had in O levels in niche markets. So the main thing that we started off in 2020, before even I was exposed to such a crowd, we just wanted कि यार हमें low prices रखनी है. So whatever it is, we don't, even if the instructor is a top-notch instructor and he's wanting to come up with us and work with us, we will try our best if he's coming on board, this course is accessible to everyone in Pakistan, not for the upper class or the lower class. So that's one thing that we want to do. If that's the comparison we make with foreign markets. With the dollar rising up every day, I think it's the best solution to have a PKR model based website or a learning platform where you can have access to everything. So, and the other thing is that, everything is in Urdu. So it's like, just the way we talk, 75% Urdu or 80% Urdu and the other is in English, just the way we talk. So that's again an accessibility for everyone in Pakistan. It's not like Karachi, Islamabad, Lahore के बच्चे हैं, अगर सत्तर में भी किसी ने बात करनी है, किसी और राइन या खान में भी किसी ने बात करनी है, तो काम करना है, they can easily access our courses without having a language barrier. Then the other thing is when initially we started off, currently though not that much, but we had instructors who were currently students. Currently, our agenda is that TAs in universities, TAs in yeah different universities or colleges. So we approached them, some approached us, and we started off with a couple of people who are people जिससे जो स्टूडेंट है वो रिलेट कर सके राइट उसकी इतना कोई ज़्यादा एज डिफरेंस ना हो and he's currently affiliated in the market as well. He knows what to do, he knows how to do it, and he knows the modern day language as well.
Basically, I mean, yeah, that was my one of the questions that I had was like, what are the courses in Urdu? So, I mean, I'm pretty sure you always get asked this a lot too. That someone can go on YouTube and maybe find something that's in Hindi or Urdu, the same thing that you are basically selling, right? So, what's like what's the incentive that you give the students? Is that the certificate? Is that something else that students feel like, oh, they might get a community once they sign up for your course? What is it?
It's the certificate. It's the certificate, and the certificate is very much useful. I would say that it is. Last year when we applied to universities, it was very much useful, and it's accessible. In other words, it's accepted by all. I would say. So it was accepted by one of the top universities in Pakistan and in the world as well. So that's one incentive. The other incentive is, we have directly, the chat box on the LMS are directly linked with instructors. So any query you have, because these are tough concepts, these are tough things that you have to go through. And, if I talk about the Pakistani mindset, it's not very much, कि आप जाके गूगल कर लो या यूट्यूब कर लो चीज़ें इतना आसान नहीं है इफ इट वुड हैव बीन हमें तो ज़रूरत ही नहीं पड़ती है काम शुरू करने की तो यू आर डायरेक्टली लिंक विद इंस्ट्रक्टर तो आपको कुछ मसला है कभी मसला है आपने चैट बॉट में लिख दिया and the instructor is going to get back to you whenever he's free. So mostly instructors are working to Saturday weekends तक आपको replies आ जाते हैं. Not a big issue.
How many people? So you said you started with 4 people, but now it's like 2 people. To basically the founding team, the managing team. So do you have other employees? Do you have other people working for you, like doing other things with like content or like something else?
Yeah, so we have a team of around 9 people, I would say. The two of us are founders. It's me and Asaad. So I lead the finance and the sales teams, and Asaad's behind the tech and the marketing. So and then we have people under us, around 7 people. So yeah, that's how the team looks like right now. The team is very much diverse. They're from different parts of the world. So all university students of our age. So it's a good thing to have. They are experiencing different things. Like my founder was obviously studying in the UK, so he comes up with a different experience. My outreach manager studying in the US, so he comes up with a different reach, different tactics. Some other people are studying in IPS, some are in RUMS. So there's a very much diverse team that we go forward with. And I think that's the best thing to have right now.
Where do you see yourself going, like, in the next few years? Like, are you, because I know you said that you guys started out as like 4 people, you were in a university, doing the A levels. So there was a completely different dynamics happening at that time. So as things change in your life, the way you approach things also changed. So are you planning to add something else besides these courses on the platform, or are you going to stick to it? Like, what's the plan?
Currently, the plan is very simple, and it's to add the courses in demand right now in Pakistan. So and we have to access everyone in Pakistan. तो with the use of technology, with the use of the sales team, हमने हर जगह पहुंचना है. Currently, that's the plan. उसके आगे the plan is very much like, currently we're in the B2C market. What I plan on to do is कि हम B2B market में भी आ जाएं. We go on towards full on organizational trainings as well. So because that's something that organizations do with time to time. So why not us?
So yeah, I mean, so it looks like you have been bootstrapping or you like funding it by yourself so far. And do you plan on raising any money from venture capital, angel investment, anything like that? Have you tried raising money, or are you looking forward to someday raising money?
Obviously, I would say that we have to raise money. If not today, then tomorrow. So we have to, कुछ हाथ पाँव मारने पड़ेंगे. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि we can bootstrap it all. We also have our limits, our budgets. लेकिन at this point, we haven't tried at all. Because we're just focusing on our work. This summer, it's the peak time of our sales. So we don't have anything at the back of our mind कि हम अभी किसी को reach out करें. For some sort of investments. But yeah, this is an idea that's been in our minds for a very long time. Because that's the one thing that I think every other Pakistani wants to do right now.
The startup ecosystem is, of course, growing, as well as there's a lot of activity happening, and a lot of startups are raising money. So that's why I was wondering if you plan to raise money, because it's you're what you're talking to me about seems like you have a really good product market fit. So that's always a good thing when approaching an investor. So all you need is fuel, basically, to grow. And so yeah, I mean, that would be one route like I would definitely look into. Let's talk about some of the challenges that so far you've had. Like, was it so tell me something about what were the challenges in terms of, it could be technology, it could be like finding good talent, or it could be something very trivial, like I wouldn't know, but you might have faced that issue when working on your working on the platform, or trying to build this.
So there have been a lot of issues. As a student, it's never easy to side पे आप कोई काम करें, and especially a startup as जो with the sales and the things we have in mind उसको reach करना इतना आसान नहीं होता. So as I mentioned, सबसे बड़ा issue ये था कि there were four founders and now we are left with two. So it was जब हम चार लोग थे, it was like it could be you would just imagine कि आप सुबह उठोगे and anyone would be like यार मैं छोड़ के जा रहा हूँ. And it was the way we were passing every day by. So when the first of our founders, who was also the CEO, he was leading the company, he decided to join the armed forces. So he said, okay, obviously I would be in my training for the 2 years and I couldn't give time about the phone भी नहीं होगा. And we were like, yeah, ये लो, अब तो हो गया काम. And we didn't have any sort of plan at that time in mind. उस time तक we were obviously working for on the live module, live classes पे. We never had it even in our mind कि हम pre-recorded पे जाएंगे, because that required a heavy investment and heavy dedication in terms of time as well. So we didn't know how university life is going to be like. So we said कि जो अभी चलता आ रहा है, we'll work with that as well. We'll work on that only. So it was obviously very difficult क्योंकि फिर जो जब हम तीन लोग रह गए थे, one was in Malaysia, one was in the UK, I was over here. So it was very difficult. Time zones इतने match नहीं कर रहे थे. And then eventually the Malaysia guy also dropped out. So it was very much of a disaster at that point because the responsibilities were very less at that time when we were four of us, and could be easily manageable, with universities and with the studies we have. Because obviously studies we बहुत difficult हो जाती हैं, especially CA की field में. So it's like this or that. But then we said, yeah, if we have a belief in the product, we can easily go in. So I decided with my co-founder right now, and we said, yeah, we'll build the technology. And he said, yeah, I'll go all in on that. So there were problems with technology, obviously, with budget constraints. There are always problems. आपके पास सर्वर्स भी स्लो होंगे, आपके पास इतनी चीज़ें भी नहीं होंगी जो आप खरीद सकते हो. So because initially we don't have that sort of an investment, because we came in with that amount of money जो हमने पहले 4 batches में कमाया था. And obviously it was very difficult. We decided to raise some of our own money, and then we said, yeah, चलो इसको चले जाते हैं कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा it's like a fail होगा. So we sell the technology. So यही है कि these were the few problems. Then the problem के if you want to hire people, you don't have money to pay them. So we had a couple of friends at that time, universities, mein, colleges, mein. So we approached them, and initially so they were very excited and they joined us. But आज आप देखेंगे तो बिल्कुल नए चेहरे हैं. So it was something, it was a really big problem and there were like late nights that we used to sit, and the next morning हमें नहीं पता होता था कि ये बंदा हमारे साथ अगले दिन होगा या नहीं. So because he didn't have any sort of stake with us, right? So he was like, yeah, money obviously buys the determination and the passion every time. So 2 3 months down the line, we went all in for our team. हमने की like I woke up. I remember कि when we were starting again for this whole platform, I approached around 40 people I knew. मेरी लिस्ट खत्म हो गई थी 40 के बाद. I didn't know anyone else who to contact. उसमें से I managed to get 3 people, and those 3 people aren't working with us right now. And it's like 6 महीने पहले की बात है. जब तक टेक्नोलॉजी बनी, मंडे को हमने लॉन्च किया, वी हैड न्यू फेसेस इन आवर टीम. It's obviously it's a challenge क्योंकि आप उनको अगर कुछ दे नहीं रहे तो they don't have enough motivation to come from university to home and sit on a meeting on Zoom. मीटिंग जूम पे जोड़े, आप किसी को कहीं और भी बुला लें, वो आता ही नहीं था. तो फिर इट वाज गेटिंग वेरी वेरी problematic. Then we decided towards a new strategy. We got a team जिसने भी ये levels किया है. So they were free for 3 months, 4 months. So we gave them the leadership role. We gave them all of autonomy कि यार आप करो बस आओ हमारे साथ. And then we said कि यार हम एक जगह बैठ के काम करेंगे in summers. So we are in IBA right now. So we're sitting over there. यही है कि it's a good experience still right now because you have everyone in front of you. But I don't know how long it's gonna last. There's not much of a monetary benefit that they're working for. So that's obviously something that's at the back of our mind every day we sleep.
Yeah, so I guess you have like your typical startup challenges where you have to convince people to come work for you for no money, and that's always very difficult. So I mean, it's very commendable. Like I'm really surprised like you kept going after your co-founders left, because shuru mein, if like your team leaves, like you kind of feel like your family is breaking up, so you give up the dream. Even if it's a big dream, you just give it up. This shows like a lot of determination. That's really great. So I mean, you mentioned like technology is a challenge, teammates and all that stuff. So, did you build something from scratch for this platform, or are you like using like WordPress, LMS, or is something like that?
Obviously, I don't lead the tech side or manage people finance or not, so I don't know if I'll be able to answer that in a very wonderful manner. But it's on WordPress. I think it's on WordPress. तो मुझे पता है. But it's not something that's very much out of the blue. But yeah, it's on the WordPress right now.
When you say like you plan to keep doing this, and so I'm pretty sure you, like you mentioned, like you want to go towards B2B, so sell courses to corporations and all that stuff. So for that you'll have to like you have to work on getting a bigger team, getting more instructors on board. So when you go and talk to instructors, what incentive do they have of like joining you, for example, and not starting their own course, like going online and going to Udemy and creating their own course where they can sell that course to like almost anyone in the world? Your direct audience right now is people in Pakistan. What is the incentive that you're giving your teachers, your instructors, that they would come and stay on your platform long term?
There are two categories of teachers right now that we approach. There's the one category जो पहले से पढ़ा रहे हैं, उनके तो बड़े नखरे होते हैं, तो उनको तो cater करना बहुत ज़्यादा मुश्किल होता है. जो दूसरी कैटेगरी है, initially when we started off हम खुद पढ़ाते थे. So that's the other category. Summer where we contact a lunch guy, जो वहाँ पे CF का TA है, तो वो अगर आके Python पे कोर्स बनाते हैं, so it's nothing to lose for him, right? He's just giving in 20-25 hours, and तो उसके लिए motivation, उसको बुलाना, उसके साथ negotiate करना is very much easier. So obviously it's not like कि हम हर किसी को approach कर लेते हैं. That's also the one thing that our platform has. It's not a marketplace. It's not like Daraz, अगर हम e-commerce की बात करें कि किसी ने भी बेचना है तो वो आके बेच दे, and there's no scrutiny. Sort of no scrutiny. We have a complete scrutiny that's been done before the course is published. So there's a team जो पूरा course देखती है, every minute of that. इंस्ट्रक्टर की अलग instructor से अलग बातचीत होती है for 30-40 minutes. And we make sure that he's obviously active on the weekends at least to answer the queries for the students. So there's a full scrutiny that's been done before an instructor comes on board. That's why we just have 8 courses right now. If we want हम 80 कर दें उसको कोई मसला नहीं हमारे लिए हम एक ईमेल डालेंगे हम एक फेसबुक पे लगाएंगे किसी बड़े ग्रुप में हमारे पास आ जाएंगे लोग but there's a full scrutiny that we do. That's why we have some big names also. We have investors launch on board with us as well. So ये है कि it's obviously very difficult to get bigger teachers on board, but the incentive is right now that if we talk about our work, that how we have been tried to go past everyone else. वो ये है कि we have a very big network amongst the youth of Pakistan in terms of O and A levels. Currently, we are in touch with almost every school in Karachi. So we have collaborations with 2-3 of them. हम अभी जब August में सारे खुलेंगे, so we have a really good contact with them, and we can easily have a collaboration with them. So it's not an it's not something difficult for us to do because we just passed out last year. हमारी पूरी टीम में से कुछ लोग अभी ऐसे हैं जो ये लेवल्स नहीं है as interns. So they have a good relationship with the schools as well. So they can easily go to their admin, their principal, and be like, "यार ये है इनके साथ collaboration करो." That boosts our reach, in no time. If I just go and this happened last year as well in 2021 for our fourth batch. Mixer said, you can come over here and either webinar करें. So half of our sales were from Mixer in the last batch, in the last live batch. So and obviously the one thing कितनी sales वहाँ से आई थी was कि Mixer was accepting payments in cash at their college. So that's also one thing that gives the students a boost. यार एक ऐसा स्टार्टअप है जिसको हमारे इतने बड़े इदारे ने एंडोर्स कर लिया है कि उसके लिए वो कैश भी दे रहे हैं. तो दैट्स समथिंग कि यार हम इनसे तो मतलब अगर हम स्टेक होल्ड पाकिस्तान पे इतना नहीं रिलाय करते बट हम मिक्सर पे रिलाय करते हैं. तो वी कैन इजीली गिव देम कैश एंड वी कैन हैव एक्सेस टू द कोर्स ओवर देयर. तो एंड ऑब्वियसली दूसरी बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है डिजिटल पेमेंट्स की, वो भी सॉल्व हो जाती है इससे. क्योंकि अभी तक हम कैश पे चल रहे हैं तो वी हैव टू flip ourselves किसी ना किसी तरह के भाई इस तरह सेल तो करनी है.
Card payments and digital payments is a completely different topic and very difficult topic to work on. So before I let you go, I just one question I had, like, what does success look like to you? Like, what is your North Star metric? Like, what are you hoping to achieve? Like, I'm not asking about like the 5-year, 10-year plan. I'm just talking about like success. What does success look like?
Initially, if I talk about why we started off, when I was applying to the UK, I was sitting with this person who's studying in this in a very big college in London. So I was talking to him, and I was all in on stock markets. So all of my essays for the US and the UK were based on stock markets. And that this guy comes up to me and he was checking my essays and he was like, "यार ये जो तुम कर रहे हो, तो मुझे लगता है कि कोई बहुत बड़ी चीज़ है कि that university takes you in just because of you're investing in the stock market, you're teaching students how to invest in the stock market. This is not something big. Every other person in the US and the UK manages a portfolio for a person who's working in JP Morgan or in any big company because he doesn't have time. So every other student is doing that. This isn't something that very big for them. You're competing with international students to get into that big college. So ये था कि it was really shocking to me when the numbers came in COVID time. We only have 252,000 CTC accounts to invest in the stock market. उसमें multiple accounts हैं, बहुत ही low active investor base है. There's no liquidity in the market right now. So this was something that why I initially got on this on board with the team to start Stakehold. So it was really shocking for me. So I was on the mission कि यार हमने इसको किसी न किसी तरह 10-15 लाख लोगों तक पहुंचाना है, स्टूडेंट्स की तक पहुंचाना है. It's very easy for a student to invest 10,000 rupees today. It's very easy for him. वो Xanders पे खाना खाने जाते हैं 2,000 रुपये दे देता है. It's very easy for him to invest in the market. It's not something that's very difficult, but it's just the knowledge that they don't have. And it's obviously there are other problems as well with the account opening and all, and bank accounts and all, वो एक अलग पूरा chapter है. But knowledge wise तो ये था कि बंदे को equip हो जाना चाहिए with all of the knowledge at this point in age. So it was something that was lacking in our schools and our colleges. I'm glad to see that some of the big names in Karachi at least are doing this stuff in their colleges. अगर मैं निक्सिल की बात करूँ तो they have a full enrichment program this year. और उसमें financial literacy program हम भी कर रहे हैं. So we're talking about stock markets, NFTs, cryptocurrency starting from tomorrow only. So it's something that I'm glad to see. So I think for success for Stakehold Pakistan is going to be if we manage to equip everyone with in Pakistan to just have the skill set to work on his own, to invest on his own, and be on his own while he's in his early 20s.
Yeah, that's really ambitious as well as like a really good goal. I wish you all the best. Thanks for being on the Misal podcast. It was a pleasure hosting you.
Same. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to the Misal podcast. I hope you enjoyed the podcast and will thank me by writing a review or sharing it on social media. Make sure you follow and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Thanks again. See you soon.